Welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV. Just ahead of Jared Dumba. Daryl texts in. He says, "Hey, Rod, I'm happy when you're happy. My Chargers win, made me happy. Eagles lose, made you happy. Win-win for both of us." And Rick is watching. He writes in and he says, "Connor Bedard is not the face of the NHL. Seriously, it's McKinnon, McJesus, McCarr, ... Let's start there with our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. Who is, if you had to name one guy, who is the face of the National Hockey League right now?
Well, you have to say McDavid, I think, but Nate McKinnon's right there as well. Sidney Crosby's been doing it for years. Look what he's doing this year. I'd say those that's kind of the trifecta right there of players. But there's a lot of young up and comers that are poised to take those seats very, very quickly.
Can we, not you and I, we never argue, but for everybody else, can we just have a debate and not fight? Because again, I said I saw in Spit and Chicklets, Biz said that Bedard's the face of the NHL right now. Listen, if he's not now, he's going to be soon, Jared. I mean, I know you're following what Chicago's doing very closely.
Yeah, and I mean, there's you got all these people in the debate: who's better, him or Celebrini? I say, who cares? You got two generational players coming in at the same time. It's just like Ovi coming in at the same time. Let's just enjoy what they're doing and not worry about who's better. You got to compare a whole bunch of things there. You got to look at line mates. What line mates have you had? What systems are you playing under? Ice time. Stuff like that. Which I know they both get a lot of that, but there's a whole bunch more that goes into it. Let's just be happy as fans that we got these guys to watch for another 2 decades, possibly.
Yeah, and I don't think Rick's starting anything. And obviously, you and I are both a little Bedard biased. That's the way it is. Okay, you gave me a list of things you want to talk about. You can talk about anything. Let's Game Plus is on the air, anchored in Toronto. Let's start there with the Leafs. They are 4-0-1 in their last 5. I picked Tampa to beat them last night. I did not think Dennis Hildeby would become the next Johnny Bauer, which I guess he was last night. Did you watch that game?
I caught not the whole thing, but I caught a good portion of it. I actually picked the Leafs. I just had that feeling, the way that they're rolling. I figured it was time. A lot of things are coming together with the Leafs. I think I'm one of the only Leafs fans in the world that hasn't panicked this year, and the reason why is you have to look at what's gone on. You get rid of your biggest piece, Marner, and you got your superstar Matthews, who was nicked up last year, still a little nicked up. We're not sure what it is, as we know. So he's getting used to a new line mate, trying to get over something. You got new DNA coming in on the team. Guys from other teams that are good players, but they got to find a role. They got a new coach, new system. Everything's new. It's that stuff's going to take a while, and then you're missing your starting goaltender, Joseph Wall. You're missing Wall for how long? And your backup's never been a starter before. So you're not expecting that to turn out great in the beginning of the year. There was some bumps. There's some other things that went on, other little nicks and injuries and stuff. But it's starting to come together now. And I think as everybody starts to pull together and start playing the way the coach wants, I think we're going to see the good results from that new DNA going into the new year.
And whether you follow the Spit and Chicklets or not, it's hard to ignore what they say. Like, I don't follow Ryan Whitney. I don't really care for him. But I saw what he said about the Oilers. He's like, here come the Oilers, as an Edmonton alum. I'm like, oh, yeah, they've won 2 in a row. All of a sudden, plan the parade. Or is he right?
You know what? With Edmonton, I think it's a wait and see. I think it's going to be a wait and see of what they do before the deadline. They're going to need something. Whether they make a change in goal. I don't know how they're going to do that or how much that's going to help. A lot of people are pointing to Binnington. In my opinion, bringing in an aging veteran. Yeah, he won last year at the Four Nations, and he's won a cup before. But look at his numbers compared to Skinner's. Is he going to come and change the game? Maybe he does get excited, but that wouldn't be the play I'd be looking for. You know what? I think they need to add a little, maybe something on defense. But what people got to remember with the Oilers, they always start slow, and they've been to 2 cup finals. Look over to Florida right now. That's a long season. That's a lot of wear and tear on the body. You tend to get injuries. You tend to get guys that are tired. Everybody's wondering again what's going on with Edmonton's defense. You know what? It matters. You got to get into the playoffs, and then it's going to matter in the playoffs, and that's when we tend to see those guys step up. For the guys that are a little older, going to 2 straight cup finals, you shouldn't be expecting a hot start. But the Oilers are starting to come around, and I think we'll see what they do here. They're going to have to make a couple of tweaks, and that'll be the time to judge. But you know what? They're on the right trajectory right now.
For the Nevada viewers about the Golden Knights, although it seems like they've been up and down, and it feels like mostly down, they had a 4-game home losing streak here recently. They've never been out of a playoff spot. What's your read on the Golden Knights today as they go into Long Island tonight?
I think they got everything you need to be able to go all the way this year. And there's generally 4 or 5, 6 teams in the league that have that, and you got to play the games to see what happens, obviously. But if you look at the way the Golden Knights are built, number one, you've got Jekyll, who's one of the best players in the world. If he was playing, I mean, he's playing just over 21 minutes a game. You put him at 23, 24 minutes a game in every situation, which a lot of coaches would do. He'd be sitting at the right at the top of that scoring race. He's not far off, but you got one of the best players in the world. You've got a Mitch Marner. Marner's going to keep coming around. He's just over 17 minutes a game. He's used to playing that 22, 23 minutes a game. So it's a bit of an adjustment there, and he'll figure that out going into the new year. But look at all you got great defense. You got great forwards. It's such a well-rounded team, and we know that the coach there likes to play everybody a little more equally. So that's where you look at everybody's stats. Nobody's really at the top of the league, but everybody's not too far off. And you got a bunch of guys that can just heat up at any time, and we've seen that with them before. You get the right guys heating up at the right time in the playoffs. You get Marner to come around that second half of the year. You get the goaltending shored up, which looks like it's coming around, and we know that they're going to be getting the Hill back later in the year or later this year. Supposed to be end of December, so we'll see how it goes. Hitting his stride. Extra rest for him if he gets hot down the stretch. It's going to be very exciting. Very exciting for Knights fans. I think a big playoffs, especially with the new additions this year.
NHL analyst Jared Dumba with us from the famous hockey playing Dumba family. I like to call him the Tulsa King, which I should have built that up more today that you were coming on the Tulsa King, former Tulsa Oiler, right? You were an Oiler.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tulsa Oilers.
Tulsa Oilers. Yeah, exactly. Okay, listen, I'm going to dip back on a few other teams in a second, but our poll question is today for EMJ Marketing. Do you believe NHL players will end up playing in the Olympics? You see the hand-wringing, the consternation, the furrowed brows. Gary's like, this is all on the IOC. When Bettman, I think they're going to play. What do you think?
I think they're going to play, but with that being said, you always got to take care of your players. You got to look out for the best of your players, and if you know what I think it might lean on is how close they are at the end and what the owners say, because the owners are really the guys that run the league a lot more than Bettman does. You know, a lot of people think it's Bettman. It's the owners, and Bettman will even say they're his boss. So we'll see if they can get things by that time. It's coming up pretty quick. But in my opinion, I think that they're going to play. But don't be surprised if last minute the NHL says, see you later, and they have to bring in. What would they do? Would they bring in a bunch of substitute players, or how would that work?
I don't think it would be hard to find 25 guys per country that want to go play. I don't think it'd be hard. They could call you and me. We got the passports. Yeah, exactly. But it's funny you say that with the owners, which is a topic that I didn't expect to get into today, but I totally think that you're right. I'm going to have Doug McLean with me, as you know, on our Panthers podcast tomorrow, and I'll ask him, because when they were going into the Four Nations face-off last year, and we're talking about Doug McLean, the famous Panthers coach, took him to the Stanley Cup final in 96. When they were leading up to the Four Nations face-off a year ago, he goes, if I was a current GM, I would be beside myself with injuries, because Matthew Tkachuk got hurt in the fight with Hagel, and he hasn't been the same since. Like, I got to think that not all the owners are on board with their guys playing an international competition like this. That's I don't know. But would you be surprised if they weren't?
Oh, I would be very surprised if they weren't. I think that they're probably sitting there just biting their fingernails for the whole time their guys are gone. That's their cash cow. That's their a lot of those guys you miss if you lose a Matthew Tkachuk. Like, look what's happening in Florida. I know they're a little tired from last year too, but they shouldn't be where they are if they had Tkachuk in the lineup. You'd hate to see that happen to a few more guys, because we saw McDavid The one thing people don't is McDavid came back last year. He had to miss a few games. He got nicked up. Was he a little nicked up from the tourney that we didn't know about? And then you decide to take a little time off. It's if you're the owners, you got to be sitting there. Owners, GMs, coaches, even your teammates got to be sitting there biting their fingernails the whole tournament, going, "Please, not now. We're getting into the stretch run here. We cannot lose these guys." Imagine Edmonton loses a McDavid.
Well, sure, but that's not going to happen because the ice is 3 feet shorter than code. Like I feel like a
Yeah,
little's being made too much about that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just as a player, you're not even going to notice that. 3
No.
feet is not a whole lot. You take a foot off of each zone, and things happen a little bit quicker, but they're going to be happening a lot quicker anyways. I don't think if the guys get there and everything's good, nobody's going to care about that.
On cue, John Ohm checks in from Winnipeg. He says these hockey players are multi-million-dollar assets. As an owner, I would be concerned. Hang on, Jeremy in Winnipeg. We'll get to your comment. We're very big in Winnipeg. But while on the Jets, Jared, how concerned should they be? They're one of the coldest teams in the NHL over the past 10, and we know why that is.
Well, you know what? You gotta you gotta just rely on Hellebuck. Obviously, he's a big part of your team. He's the MVP. He's the Vezina winner. He's that's a massive part of your team, and as good you can have as good a backup as you want. When the guys are used to playing with a guy like Hellebuck, it's the same thing as Montreal with Carey Price. What were they when Carey Price got hurt back in the day, right? So we're kind of seeing the same thing. There are a lot of good players in Winnipeg. I didn't think that they'd be this cold. Without Hellebuck, I think they could be a little bit better. So that's maybe a touch concerning for the fans. But Hellebuck's going to come back. They're going to make a couple tweaks before the playoffs. I wouldn't be hitting the panic button too hard right now.
Well, it's deeper, I think, than what he brings in the crease. There are certain teams where the goalie is more than just your goalie. I see it here with Florida. Like Luongo is the all-time leader in wins for both the Panthers and the Canucks. Sometimes your goalie is more than just a goalie. And that's what I think is going on with Connor Hellebuck. He signed up long-term. He's not going anywhere. People in Winnipeg, nobody's worth, but we're all seeing how much he's
Yeah,
worth.
well, I mean, Luongo actually wore the C when the
Yeah.
goalies could see there. So I mean, yeah, a lot of times your goalie, there's nobody on the ice more than your starting goalie in a season. A lot of times, depending on their attitude and the type of guy they are, your goalie is your captain, whether he wears the C or not. Everybody's looking to him, going to him. He's the goalie. Oftentimes is in control of the room when they're that right personality. Like I mean, so you get that personality back in the room, and you get that confidence that you've got your leader back, your highest leader back, and things can turn around very very quickly.
So a couple things in the time that we have left, which we still have plenty of time, but I said that in Jeremy in Winnipeg, we'd get to him. He says the Red Wings are in on the Hughes rumors. We can morph it together. He says, I wonder what that trade would look like. I can't see Yzerman paying that. It's the number one topic I sense in the NHL right now, besides Olympic participation, is Quinn Hughes wanting out of Vancouver. And this morning on NHL radio, Chris Pronger said, can you blame him? The team has no direction. He's giving his all every night. The analytics show it. And the team, they got blanked again last night by Detroit. Like, it's horrible there. How does this play out?
I don't know. If I'm guessing, I'm thinking he gets traded at some point, whether that's this year or after this year. I don't know if it's going to be New Jersey, like a lot of people speculate. You know what? In my mind, what happens to his brother Luke? Luke's is he going to come in and take his brother's minute? How is that going to pan out? You'd have to maybe move one to the right side. But Detroit, that's an interesting option. I think people saying that they don't think Yzerman would pay that. I think almost any GM in the league would pay whatever it takes to get a guy like that. A superstar that can lead your team and put up that many points as a D man, who's a captain type guy. If Detroit could get their hands on him, I think they would. They'd give up whatever they needed to. But it's going to be a good one to watch close to see what comes of that. I would guess it's not going to happen this year. I don't know why. I just get that feeling it would be something that happens maybe after the season. A lot of people are worried with trying to feel everything out with the cap going up. Everybody's so close right now. It's tough to know what to give up and what not to. I don't know if anybody wants to blow it up that much this season, but I think they will after the season.
Well, I'll tell you, I might have offended Bob Marjanovic when he was on the air with us last week. Legendary Vancouver broadcaster. I said, I've never seen a team play with less heart than these Canucks. And he was a little miffed by that, but also stand by that. It is horrific what's going on in Vancouver. And I feel bad for the franchise because, like, what more do they got to do? But speaking of all that, another team that's a little down on their times is the Flames, yet they've won 7 of their last 10, and they lit the lamp 7 times against Buffalo last night. You're in the notes you sent me, you're like, don't win now. What's your take on the Flames?
The Flames are like the Islanders were for about a decade there, winning at all the wrong times. You know, just when you think it's about to fall off and okay, we're going to start getting trading guys away and then we're going to try win the lottery. We'll get some guys built for the future. All of a sudden you start winning and that gives everybody in the organization confidence. The owner, the GM, the coaches, everybody's going, hey, wait a minute, I think we can do it. Look at this, 7 of 10. So now, you know, so you hold off a little bit. You maybe miss out on some big trades that you could have had. We'll see what happens with Calgary. When you watch the team, when you actually watch the team, they look very fast. They look like they're just missing a superstar or, you know, a couple of really, really high end players. They're not that far off, so I can see why they would stand pat. But I personally know a lot of Flames fans that are sitting back going, would we just lose already? We're losing at all the wrong, or we're winning at all the wrong times. Let's try get McKenna or
Well,
Bearhoff.
while we're at it, in the time we have left, are you at all concerned that McKenna is only like 1.1 point per game at Penn State? Like, will the World Juniors solidify his draft status, or is it already a lock that he's number 1?
Well, you know what? I think the World Juniors, they're not always the you know the biggest deal of the season. A lot of it goes to your season, but I think for Gavin McKenna, I think it's as big as it's ever been. This tournament's going to be massive for him. He goes out and he puts up a point a game. You might see him slide to a number 2 or 3 spot. You got some really good young guys. So what's the young guy in the SHL that's absolutely tearing it up? You got Veroff, who's a great big strong D man, tough. He can score. There's nothing saying he's locked in. If he doesn't have a good tournament, some teams could get scared off depending on who wins the draft. They could get scared off and say, maybe he isn't what we thought he was. But you know, he's always been a phenomenal player. He's been that kind of Bedard echelon. So I think he's going to go to the World Juniors and put up about 20 points, maybe even more. And if he does that, I think that'll solidify his number 1 spot.
USA, 2-time defending World Junior champs. We have less than a minute here. Are they going to make it 3 in a row or no?
I think you know what? I think Canada's going to win this year. I just think you know we've had a couple of off years, being 5th in the tournament 2 years in a row. That's never happened before. At the roster, we got a heck of a roster, and you look at our goaltending. You got George leading the way again. He was one of the top players on the team last year. We got a heck of a team. I think Canada's going to win it this year, Roddy.
Fantastic job, Jared the Tulsa King. Stay warm up there, my friend. Stay safe.
You too. Thanks a lot, brother. Chat soon.
Jared Dumba from the famous hockey-playing Dumba family. We'll be coming right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.